Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to the Reload Entertainment Studios podcast. So we got myself, Trey here, and we got old Braulio, aka Ray Blast here.
What is going on?
This month's episode is gonna be a little short, but it was expected, honestly, because I made a comment before. So news is going to be kind of slacking a little bit and everything. We definitely going to be really busy that we can't really tell yet, and we can't really expect to have a lot of news when there's not a lot of big stuff going on. But we're gonna go over a lot today. I want to actually start talking about some New World again. Oh man, I was just talking about this last year, actually. Some Resident Evil news, Game Pass, cloud game. We're talking about some cloud gaming again, and everything. I'm gonna be talking about a good bit of stuff, though. We're gonna cover a lot. All right. First, I wanted to start out is, you guessed it, New World. So New World is definitely so they're really focused on the in-game content right now. One of the in-game contents they're making is called Expeditions, and they're still working on the PvP system and everything. So basically they're adding a lot more than there were pretty much like last year before it was officially about to be released. So, but there still are testers. You can go to the newworld.com website, sign up to be testing, or go ahead and pre-order. They're basically starting to rework a lot of stuff. So I'm assuming basically what may happen is new leadership probably came in, and they're wanting to make sure the game is ready to go when the game is released. So basically, like, players, they're still going to be the same 3 factions, and players are definitely going to be able to make companies, and then there's going to be basically the whole entire world for players and everything to take over. And then you have the whole the little zombie faction, basically like they're cursed and everything. And then basically there's going to be PvP conflict pretty much all over as factions and companies fight for territory. But they're definitely started releasing a lot of videos and everything showcasing, so you can pretty much go enter New World even just on Google or YouTube, and you'll definitely find a lot of insider look of what's to come. As of right now, there's no really official release date, but a lot of people are expecting that it will finally be released in the fall. But there is a heavy possibility, as always, that it will be delayed again because, if you want to try to make a really good MMO, that's just always going to happen. But New World, my honest opinion and everything, it'll probably be a huge game, and that's what Amazon and the game development department's trying to do. They're wanting it to make it definitely leave a big mark in the whole gaming scene and everything. But it's a good thing that they're allowing a lot of people to come be testers and everything. But it just all depends on how they execute everything. But for far as I'm seeing, they're it may be delayed more and more, but they keep adding stuff, new content and everything. But alright, so to the next game. Let's talk about Dauntless. When was the last time you ever played Dauntless, Ray?
It's been a while. I think I played it. Weird saying this, but like 1 or 2 years ago now. I remember it was like I think it was still beta. I don't remember playing it back then, and it was fun, but I guess it never hooked me as much as I wish I could have.
So yeah, a lot of people may not know this. This definitely flew under the radar. I was hit up literally just recently, and there's articles being made today about Dauntless again, so they just came out with version 1.5, almost kind of reshaping the entire game. So how you go to these islands and you're hunting one monster and boom, that's it. kind of like Monster Hunter, how you just go find one you just find one behemoth and then you hunt them, and then once you get them down, boom, mission accomplished. Now they changed it up a bit. Now I was doing a hunt, going to a hunting grounds earlier. We probably destroyed at least 15 behemoths and done like 2 public events, island events at least, before officially like leaving the island. They're changing a lot in the game. Like they have a efficient skill tree, gliders now. They reworked the social hub a lot. So there's definitely like a great reward system and everything. And hunting behemoths has definitely never been more fun. So like you can literally just go and start hunting and everything. Like the combat and everything's still great. I mean, there's never really a problem with that in the first place. But they officially have like went deep down into weapon choices. So basically try to pick out what weapon exactly you want to start out with and which one you will stay with for pretty much the rest of the time. But they're coming out with these new weapon tiers, like like S tier, A tier, B tiers and stuff like that. You got chain blades, aethers, like you got these things called strikers now, which is basically like little fists, pikes, repeat, and then there's the repeaters. But there's a lot coming to this game, especially, and there's actually an update that's supposed to actually add like 15 different types of islands, like 15 different maps basically. So like they've been working on this game a lot. And when I played, it felt like entirely a new, exciting game. But yeah, it's definitely like when I was playing, like there's gonna be a warning to people listening in. There's going to be a lot of difference between the menus, so trying to navigate through the hub and everything may seem confusing at first a lot, but I feel like this game's basically just got put back on the map and this time probably for good, and not going to be like forgotten by many people anymore. That's what I feel it seems like with this game now. The graphics are a lot better optimized now than it was when it initially came out, and it's also still free on console and Epic. But a lot of people, I mean, if you enjoy games like Monster Hunter World and everything, and you want it like let's say a gigantic graphics feel, this game would definitely be the one for you. Definitely like great combat and mechanics and everything. It's so balanced and tight. It's literally awesome. But honestly, what's another game for you that has came back up on the map, like just kind of like Dauntless? Okay, came out, was pretty good, but kind of died off, but came back like just out of the blue, and it stayed just like perfect. What does the games like that remind you of?
Well, let's see, if we're talking about previous games that came out, well, I guess not for this is like if I'm thinking about this a bit more, I kind of want to think about Mordhau, kind of.
Mordhau?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
Like, I mean, it's still, I mean, if we look at the history, right? It came out like almost 3 years ago now? 2 years ago? And when it came out, It was like big and super new. Like everyone was playing it, right? It was super busy. And then, kind of died down, or at least from what I saw, kind of died down. And now we're moving to the stage where like, it has such a big player base, but we also have like a new competitor on the scene, right? This one also backed up by Epic Games, known as Chivalry 2, if you would. Which I think it's one of the upcoming games that is really interesting. especially as we go
Yep.
into like the summer, because it is gonna release June 8th.
Yeah, I've been saying a lot actually about Chivalry 2. Like these type of games stay like really, really, really big for a while. And I think with Chivalry 2, if I'm not mistaken, the battles are a lot bigger, aren't they not now? And there's like a lot more how would you say it? Like utilities, like just more utilities to use in warfare and everything now. A lot more weapons and all that.
It's definitely something to keep an eye out. They recently had their closed beta, which as I'm speaking right now, it already ended. But there's a lot of gameplay around, and we can see like how the progress is, right? So it's definitely well, from what I looked, I didn't get accepted to the closed beta, but from the few streamers that I saw playing it, it looks really good, really refined. So it's definitely something I want to keep my eyes on. And as you know, it's only like a month or two away now, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so for these type of games, like the first Chivalry, now Chivalry 2, Mortal, and there's a single player game experience for these type of games called Kingdom Come Deliverance. The melee combat is incredibly rich, like very realistic. You have to actually practice yourself to learn and everything with all different types of weapons, and the Nagore is especially phenomenal. Like going around using the mace and hitting people's heads off and stuff. But it's just games like this, it is hard to master because you have to overcome certain different types of weapons like pikes, shields and swords, shields and maces, and bows and stuff like that. But I've been given a lot of good news actually about Chivalry 2, and I've been actually watching it from Summit 1G, watching him on Twitch. The combat assist was definitely phenomenal, and it's definitely like the maps, the battles are definitely very, very nice. And yes, this is also backed by Epic. I do not know if there's going to be anything for Steam on this game, but as of right now, you can for PC, the only way you can get this game is on Epic. Didn't I say this game was going to be on the Game Pass, by the way?
I haven't delved that even deep into it, but honestly, with how Game Pass is shaping up to be, I wouldn't be surprised.
I remember they announced this game in I'm pretty sure they announced this game in an Xbox showcase, so you would think so.
Yeah.
But if they did that, then this game will definitely be like for sure. Now, what I want to see, does this game have crossplay?
Oh, that is definitely something. Yeah. Crossplay is definitely becoming one of those like big features you want to see on games. Just brings communities together and lets more people like play with each other and stuff.
Okay, so apparently it's not officially out just yet. I was watching someone actually play the closed beta. It was apparently coming to all platforms, but it is available to pre-order now on Xbox and PC for $40. But I'm pretty sure it'll definitely come to PlayStation and everything too. I have no doubt about that.
For sure.
But the performance is already, like, especially with the gore, the combat, the dozens of players, just colliding against each other, like, performance is still incredibly smooth. A lot of people didn't have an issue even in the beta for this, but the animation is also a lot better than the original game. Readability and clarity especially. The sound design is very excellent. Plentiful blood spatters, then they emphasize on the violence and brutality of this type of combat. Basically, you can kind of get a historical feeling with games like this, because back then stuff like battles like this and everything used to get really, really, really bloody.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good thing you actually brought Chivalry. I actually was kind of eyeing on that. I've been seeing a lot more people actually playing Mortal, by the way, but Mortal is basically just going to be the Steam version versus the Epic version, but we'll see how that happens. We'll just have to see how how it keeps on. But if Chevrolet does become the Game Pass and releases on the Windows Store, I see no doubt that this game will definitely be played for a long time.
For sure, yeah.
Alright, so speaking of potential games that are coming to Game Pass, I just had that in my head. There was a game, Stalker 2. Okay, so there's this game that's still under works. It's like Stalker, or supposed to be like Stalker, but you know, nothing's gonna be good as Stalker. Chernobylite. Yeah, Chernobylite's supposed to be like some horror but open world RPG now. I actually want to give a shout out to that game because I've seen some clips, but just a heads up there is bugs with this game, but potentially in the future, like when everything is settled and everything, when it's officially released, that this game will definitely be like, you know, really well done and everything. But Game Pass. I had something in my head, and it was like something about Game Pass. Oof, man. I just can't think of the top of my head. Well, we'll come back to that in a second. Let's talk about PlayStation for a little bit, and we'll get back to that. Alright, so I'm going to read out this review of Returnal, which is definitely a PlayStation 5 exclusive. You know, basically, you know, a lot of PlayStation 5 games now have that, are, you know, following Demon Souls, and Returnal basically is supposed to like follow that sci-fi horror game that's like genre bending. Basically, you play on a role of Celine Vastos, who crash lands on an alien planet and must survive even after dying. As you know, they showcased it in one of the PlayStation reveals a while back. So basically, you're just sitting there constantly dying just repetitively, just to at least till you actually beat the game. But it's a new third-person roguelike elements. These are developers behind Alienation and Resogun, so there's definitely like, you know, bullet hell shmups and all stuff like that. But from what I've seen from the enemies, especially, this game was definitely seems like it will look like it'd be a really cool roguelike game after all. Like really well done graphics wise and all that. Like like I don't know if there's been any issues. I just seen this game pretty much was released, but it is only exclusive to PS Plus. But so not many people's gonna be able to really get this game at all yet. But from what the review says, that this game is definitely like, you know, the draw story and atmosphere is very phenomenal. There's definitely a lot of big moments, and basically like the story is like yeah, it's very like the story is very phenomenal basically. And there's also if players advance further without dying, you know, pretty simple. There's tension in boss fights and runes where you're pretty much going to be locked to adversaries. So this game would definitely be a very difficult game. So I basically say like a third-person Binding of Isaac in a sense, in a way, like just a dungeon crawler kinda. That's kind of seems what it seems like. You die, like you basically lose all progress, start over.
Gotcha.
That's basically what I'm getting a vibe from this.
And it's very interesting to see that there's a huge, you know, like you mentioned, like our kind of like an arcadey action, Dark Souls based action, right? And it's interesting to see how that's gonna mix in this roguelike, you know, gameplay.
Yeah, like we had some monsters like the little horde fights and everything, kind of like how Dark Souls does it.
Yeah.
But and also I just remembered exactly what I was thinking about Game Pass earlier. So of course, like, you know, me and you and one of our very good friends, Showtimer, has been experiencing and playing Second Extinction. Second Extinction was really fun. It came to Game Pass. You can definitely play it on Windows Store, download it right now, or Xbox, 8 gigabytes, and it is very fun. Just a heads up, it's still in pretty much in like, you know, it's in green preview, but there's definitely looks like a lot of hope of content to come in. And also, speaking of Game Pass, Destroy All Humans and Dragon Quest Builders 2 is coming to Xbox and Xbox Game Pass on console and PC.
Those are definitely ones to look out for.
That's definitely going to be a big one. Dragon Quest Builders, I'd say very good news on the developers' part, because Xbox has never been able to touch Dragon Quest until the very new one was pretty much brought to the Xbox platform just on Game Pass a while back. There's a lot of cool stuff, like Knockout City is a EA's team-based multiplayer dodge brawler. It's coming in May. There's a lot of new Xbox Quest. I've been seeing a lot of hype about Xbox Game Pass now, because they keep adding a lot more games, and they officially released some stats saying that there's now over 20 million subscribers for Game Pass.
Oh, nice.
But also, here's this: Xcloud is finally coming to iOS and PC. And last I checked, I just received a message from Xbox themselves on Xbox saying that you can go to Xbox.com and now play cloud gaming on browser.
Oh, nice. This is especially good news for people who have low spec PCs and they can play their games over the cloud and stuff. I mean, it still requires a good internet connection, right?
Yeah, you still get a good internet connection, but they're sitting there trying to always optimize that to where it's not as bad. And
yeah,
I have no problem, especially with my internet. But I definitely know MLB The Show being on Game Pass is definitely been a very, very favorite on game, for Xbox and everything in general, ever since it's been added.
Mm-hmm.
But Twitter has been blowing up about Game Pass now, and it's just getting really, really big. But let's go on and keep going some news. If I keep remember what I was actually thinking, but we'll go back to that. For Destiny 2, so Guardian is still going on. Hunters have won a good bit of days, but Warlocks have won the last 2 days. So there's no telling how long we will conclude, but I do know at the end of the season they will conclude and the winner will be declared. But let's talk about what's coming in the next season and the season after before we officially have Witch Queen. So, as a lot of people probably know, there's the transmog system, which was announced and put in details in the last TWAB, which stands for This Week at Bungie. There was a lot of there's a lot of pushback and hate against this system, because a lot of people estimated that you would have to spend 12 years or $12,000 to get all current, not future, all current armor pieces and everything in order to be able to transmog them.
Oh my. What?
Yeah, because there's a limit weekly. That's what they said, and then you can either use that or use silver to buy sets.
Oh, that is definitely something I can see. Well, I can see why it didn't go over well with the community.
Yeah, and a lot of people are definitely not happy about this, but at the same time, we do get Vaulted Glass. No one officially knows if Venus will come back to Destiny officially, but there has been signs of on the moon and everything a while back about the Ishtar cliffs and everything. But that will just have to be something we have to see. I like to see how the story keeps going, especially how this season's storyline ended.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's coming out now. There's now a stock market simulator for all you day and night traders. Stardew Valley creator teams up with Metal Gear Solid composer for game music lullabies. Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, speaking of which, Apex Legends Season 9 I will actually say I'm not really too much of a big person on Apex, but that trailer and the fact that they're finally going back to the old roots of Apex definitely has my attention now.
For sure.
Valkyrie, a new legend coming out called Valkyrie, who is the daughter of Viper, who you face in Titanfall 2 during one of the battles where the militia as fleets is definitely like chasing down. It's like close to the end of the story actually, where you face against Viper.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know, but the guy running Apex Legends, like that's basically a whole tournament. It was one of the antagonists in Titanfall 2. A lot of people actually don't know that.
It's definitely interesting to see just how much forethought Respawn really puts into their characters and stuff, huh? Like, it almost feels like they're teasing a Titanfall 3 at the same time, taking our expectations away because they're putting that Titanfall 3 stuff into Apex. So,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure lots of people are like, yeah, we want Titanfall 3 and stuff, but at the same time, it's going to be competing with Apex itself, which arguably is, I wouldn't say in my opinion, it's not the best Titanfall game, but on paper, it is the best Titanfall game, right? Titanfall based game, anyways. It's still longest living, the biggest player base, and probably the biggest impact on the gaming industry, right? That's not, it's not being mean, that's just being realistic.
Yeah, I was actually having a conversation about the Titanfall. If Titanfall 2 had the same exact like multiplayer style and everything as the first Titanfall did, like if they didn't cut on the map sizes, player counts, and like the AI, I feel like even with the release date, the game would have been a lot better. That's what happened with a lot of people that got pushed away from Titanfall 2 was the lack of maps, and you had in the first Titanfall, you actually had this next gen feeling, and you could still play it, and you still have that next gen feeling because you feel like you're in an actual battle. But in Titanfall 2, they kind of removed that because in the first one there was lots of AI. You're basically like, especially Angel City map, you're basically on the first one. You go in there, it's actual like urban combat. There's gunfire and everything everywhere. But in the second one, you'll only hear gunfire like across the map. And that's basically what, for me especially, pushed a lot of people away because of that practice, honestly. That they got rid of basically what was making the game actually great. But so talking about some more. World of Tanks is now on Steam, by the way, but I don't know if anybody saw those reviews. They didn't look too happy.
Well, you know what they say. Sometimes porting a game over to a big storefront like Steam is a good move, but it also really demonstrates how much the player base thinks about it, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's been getting review bombed by actual veteran commanders because they have to make an entire new account. So if you sit there and put like $100 into this game, you had to put another $100 into the game to get exactly where you were just at.
Yeah, that does tend to be the issue with these types of ports, huh? And it's kind of, it is what it is, I guess, in some sense. It is like a old game being ported into this new online system. And in some ways it's bringing more players, but it's also isolating the old players, especially with this lack of account migration, right?
Yeah, and that's what, especially for stuff like that, that's what happens. A lot of issues with games, and then starts killing them off because of stuff like that.
So unless the World of Tanks developers have some sort of thing in their coding that lets them do some sort of account migration, I don't think we'll see a resolution to this, and people would just have to live with it for a bit. It isn't the end of the world, but definitely sucks, having them. If you want it on Steam, it definitely sucks that you'd have to start over instead of getting that progress carried over and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's been like, obviously everybody knows there's always issues when it comes to like account migration, and that's why that's why it's such a big topic today, especially with crossplay. And one of some games like Elder Scrolls Online tends to have that problem because there's a lot of people that may have played on console and put like like myself, I'm like champion level 200 and everything, but if I was to hop on PC, I have to start over from scratch.
And that's definitely an issue. They're plaguing older titles trying to move into the new age, right?
But there's a lot of MMOs that that is actually cross-plat and cross-save, but the fact that ZeniMax can't do it with Elder Scrolls Online may affect the game and actually in the future.
I mean, if they were to do something like, from my perspective, like what Destiny 2 did, you have like all your accounts linked, and then you choose your primary character account, and then use that across all devices. I could see that working with games, like Elder Scrolls Online. But it's also negating the time previously, time and purchases previous on that account. So it's a double-edged sword, and it's also an expensive feature. Who knows how long it took Bungie to actually implement that. So it's something developers are gonna have to play with, but I'm pretty sure more developers in the future will keep that in mind. Seeing as how player communities really value their time and like purchases.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And a lot of people's gonna sit there and think these the practices is not actually implementing cross-save. By the way, a lot of people's gonna start seeing that as a money grabbing way. But speaking of which, have you seen what happened in Activision CEO?
I don't think I'm up to date. What happened?
He basically had his pay cut half and everything. He was basically receiving a lot of criticism because they were sitting there cutting off people. They were only giving them a $200 gift card and everything while laying like hundreds of people off.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that. I mean, it is, it's something about the game industry that really, it's not all sunshine and roses, right? And kind of, when you see how much money they made and how much people they laid off and what they called like exponential growth, I can see why gamers and people in general will get mad. But I mean, I'm not sure if this is the right step. Might appease some people, but it really takes something internal to happen, right? And it's not always gonna be shown to light, so I guess we'll find out more as they get released or something.
I mean, just my honest opinion and everything. If you're not efficiently paying people and you have to cut people off and you're not giving them benefits, you shouldn't be getting that money anyway. Because he was taking millions to himself. That's what was basically making a lot of people mad. This guy was taking like millions just to himself, just from like actual profits.
Yeah,
from like games like Warzone and stuff like that.
Yeah, because like if you can't pay your workers a decent wage, like you're not even operating a company. You're operating something resembling a company, right? Yeah,
that's just how the side fact is. Also, side note, there's possibility of new Outer Worlds DLC soon.
Ooh. Apparently,
it's Demetri was spotted and teased by the publisher, but just a heads up on that. I'm sitting here trying to look at these other articles, but Razer keeps flooding my website.
Speaking about Outer Worlds, I did find it interesting that if I'm correct, isn't Obsidian owned by Microsoft?
They're technically owned by Microsoft now. Last I checked, like everything.
Yeah.
Like everything, every Fallout developer and everything is now officially owned by Microsoft. So
maybe they could do a New Vegas too, right?
That's actually been announced. Like there was supposedly, it's not 100% confirmed, but there's definitely been like actual new, like something that rumors and everything that it is supposed to be coming.
That would definitely be something I know people would love. everyone praises New Vegas.
Yeah. One game, I'm still waiting on information. Biomutant. I remember that game's still supposed to be huge, but definitely need no news about that. So we'll just have to wait on that one.
I mean, we're only like 2 months away from E3, and while people like Sony might not be there, Square Enix and all the other game companies are sure to bring, big news, right?
Oh yeah, for 100% sure. But alright, so let's basically just go talk about what we got left. Alright, a lot of people don't know, Resident Evil 8, The Village, comes out really, really soon. And there was definitely a lot of new gameplay and everything that's been showcased, but along with that, a Dead by Daylight Resident Evil chapter was announced. Still no information, but I do know in the month of May it's supposed to be revealed who the killer and the survivor will be.
Oh.
But speaking of additional releases that we do know that may come this year, Halo Infinite is definitely 100% cross progression, cross save, and cross play between Xbox and PC. So you can switch anytime, and most likely going to have cloud gaming on it as well. Let's see, RuneScape 3 is now officially leaving its beta on mobile. So now, here soon, it will for 100% be on the app stores here soon. And speaking of mobile, League of Legends and Battlefield Mobile. So some of the senior officials at DICE and everything has announced that the Battlefield Moba has actually been in works for a very long time. So it's looking at to be released maybe this year or next year. And speaking of which, there's supposed to be, last known, supposed to be an actual, I'm trying to think of it, new Battlefield, like Battlefield 6, supposed to be released this year. And League of Legends, Wild Rift, and everything with that coming out, that's definitely gonna skyrocket the player base and everything.
More people are gonna suffer the toxicity that's League, right?
Next thing you know, Counter-Strike.
Yep. I mean, that is if Valve knows how to make games, right?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, what is it? Well, I mean, technically there's over 3 Counter-Strikes by now. There's no Counter-Strike 3. Counter-Strike Source, Counter-Strike 2D, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Yeah.
E3 will definitely be in June. I'm pretty sure in May there's definitely going to be some releases and a lot of new stuff coming out. So we'll definitely go ahead and conclude the episode about that. For Reload, I mean, we're still got a lot of plans coming in, tournaments. Like, hey, we're starting to have a lot of Halo tournaments and Warzone tournaments, and we'll definitely be willing to host even more, and we'll definitely start upping the prize pool here soon, free entries and everything. But yeah, things been definitely popping off and everything. But gaming's always going to be here, at least for a while, probably even in the end of the world, honestly. But yes, that we will go ahead and start the conclusion. I appreciate everybody coming in, listening in, and just a little short episode. Try to look at the flashbacks past month, but the games we listed out, stay tuned. And if you want my honest opinion, Dauntless, I played actually today of this recording. I actually enjoyed it and everything. Definitely a very good game. And you got any last words, old Braulio, to refer to viewers?
Stay safe. Just
And I didn't mean to cut you off, but just a quick announcement. COVID regulations and everything is starting to lift up for everywhere. So get vaccinated if you can, so we don't have to keep wearing masks.
The end is almost near. We just gotta keep pushing through.
Yeah, it's almost getting there and then everything go back to normal, but we'll just have to see how everything plays out. But yep, everybody, we appreciate y'all stopping by. Y'all are welcome to come and ask questions or talk to us personally in our Discord server in Reload Entertainment Studios. Check us on Twitter, Instagram, or anything. Our information will be in our bio on Anchor and our YouTube as you listen to this. So we appreciate y'all coming out and listening in. Thank you.